Welcome to Thoughts in the Glass podcast. I'm LaToya.
And I'm Kendra.
And this is a weekly podcast where we share our unfiltered thoughts on a variety of topics.
So sit back, relax, and grab your favorite drink and join us on a conversation of real, raw, and ridiculously funny commentary.
Period. Every week we do a drink of the night. Kendra, what's the drink tonight?
Tonight's drink is called the Rainbow Sangria. Okay? All right. So to make this drink, you need 1.5 bottles of Moscato chilled. Put it in the freezer if you haven't done so already. 1/2 cup of triple sec, juice of 3 limes, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 3 cups of blueberries, 3 cups of blackberries, 6 kiwis peeled and sliced.
We did green apples.
We did green apples. We didn't do kiwis. And sometimes I'd be allergic to shit. Such is my life. 2 cups of sliced pineapple, 2 cups of sliced mangoes, and 2 cups of halved strawberries.
Cheers.
Cheers. Summertime is in full effect, y'all, because what?
That's pretty good. I mean, basic sangria.
A little sandy.
Yeah, nothing special, but it's cute though. I like the...
Yes.
It's cute.
The rainbow. Happy summer, y'all.
Happy summer.
My birthday is the first day of summer.
Aww.
I have one that's first day of spring, which is Jayla, and Janae's the first day of summer, June 21st.
And mine's is the first day of fall.
Get out of here. Look at y'all. Just on point.
So the Rainbow Sangria is for Pride, since this will be our last episode for June.
Yeah.
So happy Pride.
Happy Pride. Even though they was down there, Foo La La in the DC area.
I heard. So I only saw clips. I didn't get down there and do nothing and get involved in anything. But I saw some clips that some of the parades was kind of crazy.
Parades was crazy. They would shoot them up, stab them up.
We can't do nothing. I thought that the
child over there rumbling in the Bronx.
I thought that the LGBTQIA community was.
It's because the YNs of DC gonna come out at any time. There's a bunch of folk.
They mess up everything.
It don't matter. Can't go to no function.
So so she went. Did she get to do anything before the fighting started?
So, what you mean, her fighting?
Yeah. Well, yes.
So I'm gonna see you these videos of Jayla. Child, let me show you this real quick. I hollered at my child, and I'm like, she should be reprimanded. She should be reprimanded, but I can't reprimand her because it'd be so funny. What'd she do? Did I send it to you? I don't know if I didn't send it to you. Where is that? What is wrong with her? What's wrong with my child? And it's dark, so it's like after 9 o'clock.
Right.
Just fool our line.
That was at the parade?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
On the fool our line too. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, we're having a time. So I'm like, this is the issue. She just turned 19.
Yeah.
She's 18. She can have a time.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jayla, you're only 16. And she's like, well, I'm going to be with my sister. Okay, no.
Honestly, though,
they went to New York for Janae's birthday.
I can't even say nothing because I definitely had Mari with me.
I like my sister.
I definitely had Mari with me.
I'm like, Janae, what are y'all doing in New York? She's like, oh, we're just going to, and I will say, Janae's like going to the club and doing all this stuff. But they just like, oh, we're just going to go to the museums, and this is, we're going to Central Park because I want to sit on a bench and take these pictures. I'm like,
I don't know what to say about that because
sit down. And she's like, I want my sister there. I want my sister.
It'd be like that. It'd be like that. I remember taking Mari to a club. She was 16 and we 6 years apart, so I was 22.
Oh my God.
But so the thing about it is, and I don't know if Janae feels like this about Jayla, but it would start off like I would tell Amari, you can't go. Too young, you can't go.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go. Like, please. I'd be like, okay, fine. Fine. You want to go? Fine. Put some clothes on. Get yourself together. I remember we went out the first time she got drunk. I'm pretty. If she was 18, she wasn't 16. She was 18. I was like, come on. I had given her my buoy student ID, and I had my regular ID. And literally to play, I feel bad for boys because I feel like with girls we can get away with shit like this. Boys can't. But
because girls aren't as sloppy as boys can get,
and they don't care. Yeah. So like, we get to the bar. I show them my ID. They're like, oh, cool. She shows them my same ID, but like my college ID. They're like, oh, cool. I'm like, I didn't notice it. It's the same picture, same name, same everything. They don't care. Anyway, we get to the spot and they playing salsa music, right? So I guess it had to been like salsa night. But at the time when we had said we was gonna go out, I didn't realize that. You know how bars sometimes they have different nights.
Yeah.
So we get there and we get to the bar and the first thing guys are like, oh, can we buy you a drink? I'm like, yeah, it's my sister's her birthday. She turned 21 today. It's not her birthday, but I think it was like birthday weekend and she was turning 18. So they're like, oh, it's your birthday. Next thing you know, they keep sending her rounds of shots of tequila. And I'm like, and you better drink it. She gets fucked up. Now, granted, I'm drinking the shots too. Every time they send around, she taking a shot, I'm taking this shot. She taking shots, I'm taking a shot. But I also was like, you need to drink water. We had nachos and stuff like that. I'm like, you need to eat and you need to drink water. Did she listen to me? No. I want to dance. I want to salsa. I'm like, okay. They're like, it's her birthday. Oh, shots for your birthday. I'm like, Mar, you need to drink water. Did she listen to me? No. She gets so fucking drunk. When it's time to go home, she can barely even walk. She's like, I gotta pee. I can't walk. I said, you're going to have to take your shoes off and you're going to have to pee outside. Let this open. I'm not peeing outside and I'm not taking my shoes off. I'm like, Mari, please. So she don't do it. She did end up peeing outside, but she didn't take her shoes off. But she kept stumbling the whole time. We get in the car. I stopped at 7-Eleven because I was like, you need to drink a Gatorade. You need to take an Advil. Mm-hmm. I kept telling her, Mari, please drink this Gatorade. Please take the Advil. She wouldn't do it. I said, okay, fine. We get home. She throws up getting out the car. But the whole time I'm cussing her out, you better not throw up in my car. If you throw up in my car, I will put you out on the side of the road. You better hold it down. So...
Wait a minute. Now you done put this child.
I don't care. This. She said she wanted to go out with me.
But you didn't have to be the one. Shut it up. Shut it up. Shut it up.
I think in the moment it was no, I think too it was like a learning lesson of you be so pressed to hang out, but you really can't hang.
You like, hang out and not be.
Let me really show you what it is, so that you don't be thinking, I could do it.
Learning lessons. You gonna slow walk somebody into something like that?
I ain't slow walk nothing. Nah. Well, and she had drunk before. Of course, we had
you
snuck.
Slow walk somebody into that experience.
Nah, I ain't slow walker. I didn't think they was gonna do us like that. I didn't think they was gonna be like that when they found out it was her birthday. I didn't think they was gonna be sending drinks like that. But I was like, shit, they sending them. We gotta drink them. And I was drinking them with her. It wasn't like I was letting her. I was drinking them too. I just wasn't getting as fucked up as she was because I was also drinking water. I was also eating.
This is what you say in the beginning. Why somebody's sober? She wasn't even sober when you're trying to talk to her. So there is no talking to somebody that's
You're right. You're right.
It should have been like, hey, so I don't know what the spot gonna be, but if we do any kind of drinking, we need to have water. We need to eat food. Okay, listen, you have to do this because if something happens and you get too drunk, I'm not taking you out anymore.
Right.
That should have been on a sober mind.
You're right. I didn't give her that disclaimer. And she definitely got fucked up. And so we get to the house, she throws up. So she makes it downstairs. At this time, I'm living with my grandparents. So she makes it downstairs to her bedroom. And I still gave her the Gatorade and the Advil, which she didn't take. Mm-hmm. But she woke up in the middle of the night and threw up all in her bed. And then I guess she was so drunk that she couldn't even clean it up. Now, we sleep in 2 separate rooms, so I don't know this is happening. She was so drunk she couldn't even clean it up. But then once she woke up a couple hours later, she cleaned up and she got herself together. Finally drinks the Gatorade and takes the Advil. But I'm like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning now. Like, you were supposed to do that.
Yes.
But She loves to tell that story about how I got her drunk.
You did. You
I
definitely did.
But also, she wasn't pressed to hang out with me after that.
I bet she wasn't. She said, this lady crazy.
She made the drunk man's promise. I'm never drinking again. Now, her ass in her 30s and she drink more than me, but all I'm just saying is, it be like that when you got a younger sister.
But y'all are 6 years old, and this is the thing is, they fuss and fight because Janae's maturing and Jayla's still like, I'm the middle child, I shouldn't have to do anything, which is annoying to Janae. But she's like, Jayla is more out there and outgoing, right? And so because Janae is not bringing Jayla along,
it's a comfort.
Yeah, easy for like talking and stuff like that. Because you know, she doesn't have to force any kind of conversation. And then me and my sister, we like, you know what I'm saying? She's always like bringing her in. So Jayla's more of the older sister. We do, you know, so it makes you comfortable as the little sister to be there.
Yeah,
it makes Janae comfortable as the older sister to just be able to.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. I get that.
But anyway, they don't need to be going nowhere because she only 16.
I'm just saying, prepare yourself as somebody that's been through this experience. It be like that.
I know, because when Janae turns 21, Jayla will turn 18 in March. Janae turns 21 in June.
They're gonna be outside.
Anyway, I'm stressed.
But like you said before, if you did the parenting right, then you know that they got it. They got each other. Like, yeah.
God Almighty. But if the world ain't fine.
Oh, you had your child from the world.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Drake. All right, what we getting into? So I guess I don't know what to catch up on. I really haven't had too much going on.
On the TikTok, I know every swipe I swipe, it's somebody reacting to straws. Child, people falling out, huh? They falling out. They is shocked and appalled. They is through, and I'm crying, and I ain't even seen it. And I said, only if I'm crying because of the reaction, of course, because I also lost a child. You won't catch me.
I don't need to be traumatized. No. I've seen enough Tyler Perry movies that I kind of like, I know where this is going. And honestly, I've been watching. I asked Amari to give me the update because her and my mom watched it. And I was like, just tell me everything that's going to happen because I'm probably not going to watch it. But I'm nosy, so I want to know. Child. But after she told me everything, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not watching that. I don't even know why y'all watched it. So Amari was like, well, I didn't know everything that was going to happen. And she was like, but I wanted to see what was going on. She was like, but honestly, as a parent, she was like, it was hard to watch. I don't know. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? That's his moneymaker and do what you do. But I am starting to agree with some of the people about, damn, every time you make a movie, it got to be about women struggling.
But this is the thing. And I think that there are different versions of that story and different versions that are so undercover that you don't know. And so with my son's dad, his grandmother lost his uncle, so Jonathan's dad, and he said she used to be so lively, so into doing stuff, blah, blah, blah. When he passed away, now she's bedridden. She gained all of this weight. He said she hasn't walked. She said all of a sudden she just started like not being inclusive. Not inclusive, but
a recluse.
A recluse. Thank you. And she's been bedridden for now. Jonathan will be 10. She's been bedridden since I've known them.
Wow.
And so the thing is, yeah, it's like you don't want to hear the stories, but the stories that are these things are actually happening to people.
Yeah.
And I think the message sometimes is you don't really know what somebody's going through. So the lady at the bank or whatever that everybody can stand. There are more people like that more often than not. And so when we say, oh, we don't want to see that, we are becoming that person. And so sometimes it needs to be on a larger scale. It needs to be on a big screen, because if you come across somebody that may not be having a Janae day or Janaya day, they could just still be having a day, and then you be the one that be ready to break the straw. We talk about it. Oh, you know what? What, you gonna act like a postman? You gonna go postal? People are really going through things, and we don't, as a society, take the opportunity to be there for folk. I think the only reason that it sometimes is touching more, like, oh, well, why he got to do that? Why he got to put us out there like that? Because you know somebody in your family that's either that way or has gone through it.
Yeah.
And you don't, maybe you haven't done all that you could have done to help, or that was you and you don't want to be reminded of it. Because we surely as hell don't say nothing about why every time we turn on SVU, somebody getting raped. Why are white women always getting raped? Why are white women always this, that, and the fourth? Why is it that white women? We don't say any of that when we talk about the Silence of the Lambs and stuff like that. Oh, that's getting folk. It's a key. Yeah. But if the roles of the rest are like, well, why would you put the woman in a black woman in that traumatizing situation? Every movie about a white woman, something is happening. Now she's becoming triumphant. Now, but the truth of the matter is, more often than not, you look at the lady that just got guilty.
I can't
think of her name. More often than not, that would not have been a black woman's story.
That's so true.
So why? The reality is what the reality is. We don't want to face reality, and I get it. We have enough because it is our real lives. But it's easier, in my opinion, to shut off a real life than to deal with it in a movie. Because if you, I can complain about this movie, but in real life, you have not stepped up. In real life, you have not done all that you can do. I have a friend of mine who's, when I say going through, and have seen her making good money, having her clearance, doing all of the things to the point where she's like, she living in a shelter. No kids. This is somebody, no kids, no other responsibilities outside of herself, living in a shelter, becoming more of an alcoholic because she, that's just kind of what she was her cool coping first, mechanism. Her coping mechanism. Yeah. Started to also now dibbling in a little bit of drug. The only way I can sleep is with, eating an edible. So this be real life. And I'm the friend that has had to pick her up from prison. Or jail, excuse me, had to. One of the main reasons that I had to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb, because 3:00 in the morning. Oh, can you pick me up from the precinct? I had a DUI. It's only so. This is somebody's real life. I can touch the person and have this is happening to. So it's like, no, we don't want to hear about it. But I walk down. We in DC. We walk down the street. We see that has been somebody's life.
To your point, everybody needs some representation, and it is a certain level of. We have to show what's actually going on in our reality, even if it's just to bring awareness to it. Right. I guess there's different ways to perceive it, right? Because you have some people who are like, I could totally relate, and there are stories out there that can show them that, hey, you're not alone. It happens to people, you know what I mean?
And people are empathetic, and people will be there for you, and all police officers aren't bad, but then on that same squad, there are terrible ones.
But then on the flip side, you have those people that feel triggered by that. And I think that is where you're getting a lot of the criticism from. It's from those of us that feel triggered by that. I was like, I don't need to watch that because I don't want to be triggered. Even though I have not experienced any of those things like you, I know people that have. And to me, watching that is almost like watching my friend or watching somebody I know on TV go through something that I've seen them go through in real life. So it can be triggering. So like I said, I know that's his bread and butter, and I'm not saying he should stop doing it. That was my initial reaction. Like, damn, why do we got to keep doing this? But hey, they made, like you said, they made 16 seasons in NCIS or SVU. So it is what it is.
Ain't nobody said nothing about no Ice Cube.
Ain't nobody said nothing about
it. Ice-T. When y'all gonna stop with the criminalities or saying that's not why is New York represented in this way? Everybody's saying a thing, but then it's also like the nice thing about movies is you can decide not to involve yourself.
Speaking of which, this is a little pivot, but Sinners you can stream it now.
Okay, that's wonderful.
So you can fast forward through the scary parts and you can watch it.
Wonderful. I do need to say, I was talking to Devon sister the other day, and she's like, "You see?" I was like, "I'm not watching that." She's like, "I'm gonna trick you into seeing it." Do you not know how fast I'll fall asleep when I don't want to do something? In my mind, I'm like sleep. Next thing you know, I'm asleep. You hear me?
It's good.
People think Strauss was good too. Does that mean I have to watch it? No. And you agreeing with me because you don't want to watch it. But if he was like, "It's good," then you be doing the same thing. No.
I want you to watch it. You say, y'all got it.
Y'all got it. They made money over fist over money. They don't need my little $11.
Fine.
My little coin is not stopping him from having any success. I promise you.
My TikTok algorithm has been all this T.S. Madison, Nene Leak stuff. And we talked about this a little bit, but I guess seeing the conversation. So, if y'all don't know, T.S. Madison did an interview with Nene Leakes. This was probably about a month ago now, where the conversation came up of if a man is attracted to T.S. Madison, and that same man, Nene was saying, if a man is attracted to you, then he's gay, right? And I would want that same man to, I wouldn't talk to him, basically. And Madison was saying, if a man's attracted to me, he's not necessarily gay because I am female presenting. So he's looking at a female and he's attracted to that female. So that doesn't necessarily make him gay. And so that was their argument. And I think a large part of the trans community was viewing Nene's comments as transphobic. And we talked about this. And I think when we talk about phobias, I think that we use those words so loosely.
Yes, phobias meaning you're afraid of something.
Afraid of something, or I would even more so say you have an aversion to something, right? And I think we use that very loosely because I can disagree with you and not have a phobia. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is kind of what this argument boils down to. It's like, maybe I don't agree. Maybe I don't see things the same way you see them, and I don't have to necessarily accept your point of view. That doesn't make me transphobic, or that doesn't make me any phobic. It just makes me having a difference of opinion than you. Unless you really do have an aversion to something to which, that's your own personal issue that needs to be kind of explored. And it kind of had me reassessing where I stand on some things, because I think that there's a intersectionality between what we have an aversion to, and what our expectations are in society, if that makes sense.
So I'm just I looked up phobia. What does phobia mean? And you said exactly, an extreme or irrational fear or aversion to something. Okay, to be transformed, I'm not afraid of a trans person.
Right.
I don't have a fear of a trans person. The thing is, and this is kind of leaning towards, right? And I think you want to put something on someone because it's the harshest part, like the harshest thing to say, right? I'm going to say something super harsh to make you...
Or to get a reaction.
To make you feel a certain kind of way. Because a phobia means like, so the first thing somebody will always say, I ain't afraid of nothing. Because that's what that is, right? I'm not well educated on a lot of this, of what's going on in this community. And when it comes to like women and trans women having these issues, I do have a thing about like being considered a cis woman and all this other stuff, and you could just call us women, but you all are cis women. I don't like that. I don't like that, and I'm like, my thing is, no matter how, and I use this analogy for someone who is of color, a black woman, black man who dyes their skin, goes to all of the echelon white thing, Caucasian things, speaks very proper, looks their nose up at other black people, this, that, and the fourth.
Does all the stereotypical white things to try to assimilate into that community. Yeah.
No matter how much and no matter what you do, and all of your biology, you still black.
I.e. Michael Jackson.
I.e. I.e. what's the baseball player that looked like he pink now?
I don't know.
I think he's more Hispanic though. But anyway, people that do this, right? The thing is, the unfortunate part is that when you say this, and if you be like to what the biology is, when you look at chromosomes, to what the real thing is, all of a sudden, you transphobic. That's not I'm speaking
like scientifically.
This is a scientific thing. You as a biological Y chromosome, not having a uterus, not having to inject something within yourself to all of a sudden have estrogen, because that's not your that's not your
makeup.
That's not your natural makeup.
Exactly.
That is your genealogy, that's not what that is. So when it comes down to it, no matter how many implants you put in, no matter how much estrogen you take, no matter how much of anything that you do, you are biologically still uncreated as a man. Mentally, you may feel this is not the right body, but biologically, the way that God put you in that mother's body, if he made a mistake, that's his business. But this is just what it is. It would be the same thing as someone who is um, um, ADHD or has other things that are like on the spectrum, and they're like, "Well, I'm not. Don't treat me that way."
Yeah, I don't identify as that.
Fortunately,
but you've been diagnosed.
That's
so.
what it is.
Yeah,
that's your makeup, and no matter what you do, this is your makeup. But you can move things in a different conform to how the world works for you.
Correct.
And so that doesn't mean that you're no longer on the spectrum. It's like, oh, he's making the world work for him in that way. That's just the nuts and bolts of it. That doesn't make me being fearful of someone that's trans,
right?
Or having an irrational fear or adverse,
or even having an aversion. Like I'm not adverse to it, but I do agree with the one. Well, I agree with most of what you're saying, and especially, or maybe it's not an agreement, but to make a statement, I would say, and this is just my opinion, the trans community may feel differently. It's okay to just be your own category of what you are. You know what I mean? Instead of there being this push to be accepted as something, like you said, as something that on a biological, scientific, on a cellular level, instead of trying to be accepted as something that is not true on a cellular level, why can't you just be a trans woman? Like why can't you just be that? Why can't you just be a trans woman? And it's okay to have, the same way it's okay to have black women and white women, the same way it's okay to have black women that are light skinned, black women that are white passing, the same way it's okay to have white women that are darker skinned, white women that, was raised in the black community, so they identify with the black community, but they know they're white. It's okay to be a trans woman. Listen, I was born a man. I know that, on the cellular level, I have that X chromosome. They have X or double Y? Double X. Double Y? Whatever. I understand that I have those chromosomes. I understand that I don't have a uterus, but you know what? I want to present as a female.
An X and a Y.
Okay, I understand that I have, an X and a Y chromosome, and that is not ever going to change for me. But I want to present as a woman, and that's what I'm going to do. I honestly feel like it's the same as wearing a wig. Like, for example, I know that this is not my natural hair pattern or hair texture, and if somebody were to call me out and be like, "Girl, your hair ain't straight like that," okay, sis, but it's not clockable. Like, you would have to either know me or really get up on me or really be in my business to know that this is not my natural hair texture or pattern. And also, I'm okay with the fact that it's not.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. That's the shake and a twist, is that you don't want to be considered a trans woman because saying you're trans automatically equates to, okay, so you were a male,
right? And you have to identify that male part as well,
and you don't want to do that. That's not my business,
right?
That is something that you need to resolve within yourself. It will be the same thing for women. That's like, well, you got to do all that to, you need to do perms or relaxers to get your hair to be straight. It ain't really like that. I'm doing it for management or for manageable or whatever. That sometimes I don't mean that I have an issue with my natural hair.
Exactly.
If I don't know what to do with it, if I don't know how to maintain it, if I don't want to have to do a whole lot to it, yeah, I'm going to do something to.
Or it could just be your preference. I just like how I look with a straighter hair texture.
But that doesn't mean that if there's anything different from when my kids come out, baby, it's gonna be the same. That biologic is the naps is up in there,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And so to say that, not wanting to identify that part of yourself inevitably is a internal feeling of what you need to deal with. It's the same thing we say when you have white passing women who do all of the things, and they be like, it's something within me. I'm not going to deal with that.
Right.
I don't want to do that. We talk about like people that's like, I'm only dating people of lighter complexions because I want my kids to be light, or I want such and such and such and such. That's something you have to deal with. It's all the same thing. And the thing that I said earlier, we're kind of talking about this. We can say all day long, I don't care how much cream you put on, I don't care how straight your hair is, you still black. Nobody's community be like, oh, don't do that to them.
Right. Don't call them black. They not black.
Like
yeah.
That's not what they identify with. You can't do that.
Yeah.
No one cares. But the moment someone's like, you still a guy.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's the life that you were brought into. I do believe in reincarnation. This is what you were brought into this time.
Yeah, and I think that, not to quote her, but I don't have an issue with her, but I think that Candace Owens brought up a good point in her interview with Jason Lee when she said, if the same, like, if we're gonna accept trans in that way, then we have to accept Rachel Dolezal in when she wanted to identify as black, but her genealogy
is Caucasian,
and the black community really had an issue with that, right? Why you can't fake and pretend to be black, but why not? Like, if we saying that, if people can identify as whatever they want to identify as, then we have to basically look at that across the board, right? And I really have yet to see anybody explain to me where those two differentiate.
And that this be my thing. I don't care about like what you prefer to be. That's because it's not my business. Whatever happens in your bedroom is literally in your bedroom. It does not pay my bills. It does not deal with my job. That's your business. But fair to me, fair is fair.
Yeah.
Across the board. And if I'm going to have a feeling about that, I'm going to have a feeling about this because, as I always say, the trunk is still the same. It's just different fucking branches.
Right.
So stop playing these semantical games.
Yeah.
I don't like that. Now, on the other end, when it's like talking about the guy, you could be I feel like women are attractive. Women are, I mean, they soft. They're pretty women. I don't like boobs though.
Right.
I don't want nobody else's vagina. I barely want my own because I got a cycle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That does not. So I can understand him being attracted to someone that looks like. I've seen trans women that look gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. That doesn't make him gay. Now, the thing that, again, if we throw these words around, being gay means having relations with the same sex.
Yeah, I don't, but I also do feel like there might have to be some that I don't know. I feel like that definition, and if we just going off the definition, we just going off the definition, but in a way, because I do feel that socially we have created these contracts and constructs that now I think you do have to go back and almost like reevaluate these definitions, because being gay means being attracted to the same sex. But then I personally feel that if you have a man that is with maybe she's a biological woman, but she's male presenting, personally, I'm gonna think that guy is at least queer, because while she may be a woman, the fact that she's male presenting is letting me know that you're attracted to some level of masculinity, that the masculinity is socially accepted. It's not like Rasputia, right? From what was that movie?
Norbit.
Where Rasputia was female presenting, but she was a dominant female, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's masculinity in a sense, not even masculinity, that's dominance,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about masculinity in the sense of how we view it in the social eye.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying it specifically like that because masculinity and femininity changes based on your social structure. For example, back in the day, men used to be the one to wear more feminine clothes, what we consider feminine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So but that was that social setup.
Mm-hmm.
Now in this social setup, women are the ones that wear more blouses, things like that. Men, you know what I'm saying, they wear more structured clothing, or just generally, y'all, I'm speaking generally. So what I'm saying is, as a society, we have decided now what we view as masculine and what we view as feminine. If you are right now today attracted to a woman who is displaying those masculine things, in my opinion, that says something about you, about your sexuality. And to me, it doesn't matter that she has the parts of a woman. Seeing what you're attracted to says something about your sexuality to me.
So this is the thing. I'm only going off of the definitions of stuff, right? And it would be the same thing as being called a nigger is only associated with black people.
True.
A nigger is somebody that's just unintelligent.
Yes.
But because I can call a white person that's a nigger. They not black. That's not what I'm calling them. I'm calling them a non-intelligent person. So
I mean, yeah, but the other thing is too, though, the definition, like even as a society, we have created definitions for words, right? Because like you said, a nigger just means you're unintelligent, but during the transatlantic slave trade, the society associated that word with blackness, and also associated that word with non-whiteness, because they used to also call Irish people niggers. They used to call Chinese people niggers too, which people act like they don't remember that now. But I'm pretty sure y'all heard the term yellow nigger. That was for Chinese people. So to your point, yes, it meant uneducated, but then also society is what made it be associated with black people. You see what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying. So we have all of these. So what I'm saying for me is the definition is you're attracted to the same sex.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the same. I can't say that someone who is attracted to a female that is masculine presenting is gay, because when he is in relations, when the lights is out, them parts, meaning biologically, is the same.
Yeah. Okay.
So when the lights are out, now you can change all the things. She can add a penis. Now we're talking about, now biologically she's the same, but you doing gay acts.
Okay.
So now we're because you're looking at the biological pieces, right? So now I'm like, okay, so why you don't want a dude? Now it might be it's just her and the way she is. So I think that we're using this word as what I think that person is gay. No, he's the technical term, because he's sleeping with another man. Biologically, yes, he will be considered gay. Societal term, no, he's not gay because he's attracted to a woman. She's not presenting herself in any outside way.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on who you're speaking to, if you're talking to me, I'm only going off of the definition.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the same thing as if it was like the guy, I can't think of his name, but he got red hair. He is very feminine presenting, clean face. You would think he was gay. He has a girlfriend, and it would be the same thing that you like. Well, why? Well, you just might as well date a girl.
Yeah.
I don't want a girl. He also still has a penis. He also still has a thing, and he's still protect. He does all the things, but he presents as a feminine woman. She may be attracted to women, but I don't like women.
Yeah.
That doesn't make her, now that they are in a heterosexual relationship, but it looks like, oh, well, he should be. It's because of what we put on.
So to me, I feel like that's where the word queer comes in, right? And I think that's what, I don't know the history of that word, but I'm just gonna assume that that's what it was created for. Like, because you're right to say like gay, to say lesbian, to say these terms are very like rigid in their meaning. You know what I mean? And so if you don't specifically fit in that box, but you still not specifically fitting into the heterosexual box, then where do you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, using your example, if you're a woman with a man who looks like a woman, to me, that calls into question your heterosexuality, because what you're attracted to does not present as that gender. So I would say that there's some queerness there, even though he is a man and y'all are in a heterosexual relationship. Like, what you're attracted to seems to be some queerness there, because it doesn't present as a man. Do you know what I mean?
But that's the same thing as a woman. You could say that with somebody that's a full dom, got her boobs taken off, all the things, but has not transitioned.
Right.
Well, why you don't just date a man? I don't want penis.
Right. But I would say the same thing. Then there's some queerness there, clearly, right?
So that's what I'm thinking. I'm saying that we're putting so many definitions on things, and this is what people are running from. I don't want to be considered trans because I don't want to be a trans woman, because it's also going to turn off the type of man that I want to be with. So just call me a woman, because if you call me a trans woman, it goes back to, okay, they know at some point that I was a man, and some men can't move past. Like, you might be attractive, you might, because, and I like talking Dave honestly, and he just shakes his head, because sometimes some people look so, you just don't know. And the mindset is, I know what the chromosomes are. That's not what I'm attracted. That's not what I want. I want a biological woman.
As is their right.
And you're like, well, I get it, but I'm also still a woman, so you should still want to be with me. Now that becomes the problem. Yeah. And that's why it's like, I don't want to be considered trans, because the men that I want to be with don't want to be with trans women. And so if you call me trans, then they equate me to being a man, and I don't want to be equated to be a man. That's not fair to
those people that have those preferences.
Now all of a sudden, well, if you don't want to be with me, you transphobic, because I'm presenting as a woman. I went and got the surgeries. I have breasts. You just don't want to be with me because I used to be a man, and now you're transphobic. Bitch, no, I don't want to be with a biological man. Why is that an issue? That's y'all's issue. You can't put that on. It would be the same thing as and nobody would say, bat an eye if a woman said, I don't want to be with a biological woman. Now, their biological woman that is trans man would have a problem with it.
And so I wanted to bring this up because, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't see that on the other side. Like, this argument of the trans versus the biological, you don't see it on the other side. Like, the women that have transitioned to men, from my perspective, now I could be wrong, but one, you don't see them going back and forth with real men. Real men could care less. They don't give a fuck about that shit, from my perspective. And two, you don't see them going back and forth with real women. Like, women who choose to transition to men, a lot of times they know who they are, they know what they are, and you don't see them having this argument when they're talking, when they're trying
to... They don't care about being called trans.
And when they're trying to talk to women, when they're trying to date and things like that, I don't see the tension as much. For example, if I met a man and found out that he was a trans man, and I say to him, well, you know what? As much as you may look like a man, I know you're not. And so I'm just not cool with it. Most of the time, at least from what I've heard, most of the time, they just go about their business. And it's not an argument. It's like, sweetheart, it's cool, whatever, your loss. You know what I mean?
But more often than not, and this is the thing that when it comes to biological, the people that's always arguing with women are men. So no matter how you slice the damn pie, no matter how you do, men are always trying to upstage women. And so as a trans woman, if you're trying to upstage a biological woman,
that's still a man trying to upstage a woman.
No matter how you freaking slice it. Because it's in your biology. For whatever reason, you have to be on top. You can't just assimilate to saying, you know what, I'm a trans woman. I appreciate how women are, and that's what I want to be more like I, whatever, and show homage. It's
Yeah.
like, oh no, you can't.
I will say you have some that do.
You have some that do,
but by and large, they do. They are very combative, and that could be that.
I had to say it. Say it.
I feel like this is an insensitive joke, but I was gonna say that could be that testosterone still trying to come out.
Because no matter how you slice it, that XY chromosome gonna be up in there. No matter how you slice it. So just like trans men, that double Y chromosome is up in there. So they're going to be like, you know what, that ain't even my fight. I'm not even.
But I also feel that they don't, because we all are women, when we're talking about trans men, or when we're talking about biologically, I just feel like they don't have the same challenges. For example, a man trying to talk to a trans woman, once he finds out that she's trans, normally there's a level of aggression that comes with that. You know what I'm saying?
Because he looks at you a dude.
Yeah, and so that trans woman, her safety is called into question, right? When you're looking at trans men and they have the exact same experience, like I tried to talk to a woman, she found out I was trans. Typically, that woman is not going to get aggressive with that trans man. It's normally just a, hey, that's not my thing. Okay, cool. Everybody go their separate ways.
Do you know why? Because it's biologically
right. And so
women.
That's what I'm saying. That was my point. Yeah. That it's biologically two women. So it's we don't have to escalate it.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary.
Men feel biologically you feel that you have to be on top. You have to
assert yourself somehow.
You have to be up in the mix. Women just don't be like that on a regular basis. For the most part, you have outliers in every situation, but more often than not, that's just how I'm even going to say, and I'm just talking, and I'm just looking at algorithms. When you have gay men and you have gay women that are in a lesbian, like men that are in a gay relationship and women that are in a lesbian relationship, even on social media, you don't have as much in your face shit with the kissing and the this and the that. You have a lot of that of still, I got to put it out there. It got to be this, where it's like, if you cool, I don't know, don't cancel us, but I'm just saying
I mean, at the end of the day, it's our opinion. Y'all don't gotta agree with it.
But I'm not trans nothing. I'd be like, they make them look fire.
They do, and I don't have personally. So I was assessing myself to see if I had any transphobia or any phobia associated with it, and I think that at best I can be a little insensitive. But I don't think that there's any phobia because, in all honesty, I don't fucking care. I don't care. Get your surgeries, do the things, do your hair, get your body done, take your hormones. I don't care. And when I see people, I will try to respect them as much as possible. Like, if I meet you and you are female presenting, even if you're in the beginning stages and I'm kind of not really sure what's going on, if it looks female presenting to me, I'm most times going to go with her, she, unless you correct me. If it looks male presenting, I'm going to go with he, him, unless you correct me. Once somebody tells me they're, even if it's a they, them, which I struggle with that, not because there's any phobia around it, but because I don't identify people as that.
Individuals. That's not what we were taught.
Yeah, so
individuals were never they, them.
I struggle with that a little bit, but it's not that I don't feel that they should be. It's just like, be a little patient with me. I may forget to do that. You know what I mean? I try to as best as possible use people's names, especially if it's a situation like that. I try to use their name, but sometimes I do get a little bit caught up in it. But anyway, I was assessing myself to, you know what I mean? Like, do I have any issues with it? And when I thought about it, when it boiled down to it, I don't have no issues with it. And honestly, I'll take it a step further. If I was dealing with somebody and I found out that they had been with a trans woman, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Because in my mind, even if they was dealing with that person and found out later that it was a man, in my mind, it's almost like I'm like, I see what you was trying to do. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to hold that against you. And I don't feel that I'm in competition with that. Right? Versus if I was dealing with a man who used to deal with men, that would be a little bit harder for me because now it's like, while you may be bisexual, I don't know if I want to date somebody who is open to both genders because maybe this is my own insecurities, but if I'm in a pool of just women and female presenting people, that's one thing. But if I'm in a pool with somebody who is completely opposite of me, that doesn't make me feel comfortable, right? And even for myself personally, if I met somebody that was a trans man presenting as a trans man and then I found out later that they weren't, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I can't believe this, da da da. I'm gonna be like, when I seen him, he looked like a fine ass nigga. I'm comfortable in what I like.
Yeah.
I found out later that wasn't the biological case, but I wouldn't still go back and be like, well, damn, am I a lesbian now? No, because he looked like a dude. I was interacting with him in the same way that I would interact with the man. Once I found out that it wasn't, whatever decision I make at that point, well, I ain't gonna deal with you because that's not my thing, or well, shit, we've been doing it this long, I really like you, let's just keep it going. Whatever the case may be, I still wouldn't consider myself to be, maybe I might say there's some queerness there because now you know what it is and you still fucking with it, but I think that's...
But I think, I'm gonna say this, I think the difference is, so you're saying finding out later. More often than not, if you are having sex with that person, if they still have a penis, that's automatically, if you still have a vagina, you automatically, so you can be presenting a certain kind of way. It's the bottom part. So
right, but say, like, what if they have bottom surgery?
But that's what I'm getting ready to say. Okay. So if you saying, I found out because someone had to, like, because I saw a baby picture, or because somebody told me. Right. Now we're in a different situation.
Or what if we never got sexual?
But then that means you haven't done anything. You were just in a relationship.
But you don't. Okay. Yeah.
Because that doesn't. But what makes you gay is having intercourse.
Is it?
That's what because this is the thing. Or romantic, like, now if y'all kissing, all of the stuff. I don't care how much kissing you're doing. Somebody's feeling something. Somebody's feeling.
Okay. Maybe we kissing and we feeling something, but in the case of a trans man, we kissing and they wear a strap. They wear it. It's gender affirming for them. Like, it's not just something that they use for sex. They wear it all day. So we kissing and I'm feeling that, but we never take it any further.
But again, I look at that because I especially because women, because I don't you put your lips on me, but they be at the, you know,
kiss the girl before.
Okay, she's be like, oh, my friends, and then they want to kiss.
Not on the lips.
People be doing that.
Yeah,
and
I get it.
Like, but I like guys. So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I think even in that sense, even for a male, she's a girl.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because she's tux or whatever.
Right.
What I'm saying is when you, without a shadow of a doubt, without them having to tell you.
Right.
Because the bottoms haven't changed.
Right.
And you be like, I mean, but you know.
Then you feel like it was already something there.
So, no, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying once you know, and if you like, well, you know, I still love, you know, I still fuck with you, stuff like that. That changes your sexual preference.
Yeah.
Because now you're open, that's your business.
Fine.
You're open to exploring. And, you know, I was the one always doing the ball, you know, the top part. I ain't never been on. Them balls were still moving around kind of thing. Yeah. So that's what changes it for me. If you saying that person had surgery, this, that, and the fourth, blah, 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 I just didn't understand why they couldn't get pregnant. We never really went to she just said she was on birth. If you have all of these lies. Yeah. And then you know, Tyrone. I know Tyrone.
Right.
School with him.
Right.
Now, wait a minute. Now I can't just be like, oh no, child, you gay because you were
unaware.
Baby. I can't be mad at that.
I think too, that's what a lot of these guys try to make it seem like. Sometimes when they be in these situations, they try to make it seem like they were unaware when they really weren't, because they know that that's a cop out for them.
I ain't even know, sir. That balls and change was still up in there. So
or
stop.
This ain't the first time
that you've been in this situation.
Cut it out. Eventually, it starts to become a pattern, and you start to ask questions, and it really is okay. But the issue is that they still want to be accepted by women, and so.
Because they want everything. They want to be able to have their cake, eat it too, and a piece on the side. And that don't be the case. And this is the thing. It should be just fine for women to be like, I would prefer not to deal with somebody. And be okay with that.
I also wonder, and this is a question for the community or maybe not. So when we say the word bisexual, in my understanding of the word, it means that you are attracted to males and females, right? But does the word bisexual always also describe someone who is attracted to one specific gender presenting, but it doesn't matter biologically. Meaning, I'm a man and I like trans women and I like regular women. Is that still bisexual?
Unfortunately, for the definition, because the definition of it comes to that person is biologically still a man,
Mm-hmm.
and you are biologically still attracted or willing to be in a relationship
With either sex.
with
Mm-hmm.
either sex.
Mm-hmm.
That's just like the thing is you gotta be okay with that.
Yeah. And that's why I'm asking that question, because I feel like, can they just say that then? Can these men that like trans women and biological women or cis women, whatever, can they just say I'm bisexual? Even though they've never been with anything that looks like a dude?
They can say what they want.
No, I'm saying, and that's why I said this is a question for the community, because would that be accepted? And would that be a proper definition for them?
I think if you say, well, I'm bisexual, but I've never been with a male presenting man.
Right.
Oh, what does that mean? I've been with a trans woman. She did have, surgeries, this and the fourth, but inevitably she was still a man.
Right.
And I've been with a biological. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
You can say that. It would just be the same thing as someone saying I'm bisexual, but I've never been with.
I'm bisexual, but I've never actually been with the other sex. But I know in my mind I'm still attracted to them.
Yes.
Okay. I guess it's the same. And I guess to circle it back around to what I said earlier, maybe all of this falls under the umbrella of queerness.
All of it. I think we keep putting, this is the issue with society across the board. We put so many labels on everything that it causes people to want to be in a certain box or not be in a certain box.
Mm-hmm.
If you just say, and this is where the people that say, I just like who I like,
mm-hmm.
I'm just paying, I'm just here for a time.
It feels like that's a catch-all bucket.
I'm just here for a good time. I enjoy someone's personality. And what comes at the bottom, if I'm not here for penis, then I'm not here for that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not here for vagina, I'm not here for that. But I just enjoy that person's personality. Now, does that mean, and there are distinct differences of, I can love somebody's personality and all of my being is like, I don't find you sexually attractive.
Mm-hmm.
I could also be having a conversation like, oh my gosh, it just gives me the feels. But you take your pants off, I'll be like, no. You know what I mean? That's just the way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the biology of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully, we did. We hopefully we didn't offend.
We never mean to offend.
Yeah. Hopefully we didn't offend anybody too bad.
I am not transphobic. I promise you. I promise you. They be looking good.
They do.
I do want to know where did you get your surgery from? The only times I have an issue was like, well, when we start getting y'all uteruses, why are you trying to compete with that?
Mm-hmm.
The bone structure is like, there are structural different things, and I wish that people would just say, I admire you. I want to date men that are male. You could. And the thing is, it's because the pools be small.
Mm-hmm.
You can be with a masculine gay man that would enjoy you as a trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
But that bucket is small, and so now, and it just becomes a thing of, and this is just me thinking, how black men want to conquer white women to say, I did something.
Mm-hmm.
It gives a lot of, I want to conquer your straight men to say I did something.
Ooh. And
it gives that a little bit. Sometimes a lot of it. But it gives that.
I didn't even think about that.
I'm just saying. That's what, and I don't want to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's always then it becomes a catch-all when it comes to just women, but we as black women already deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have another set of people doing the same thing.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate.
It's annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying.
And I think that's why you get it more from black women trying to getting annoyed with it, because it's like it comes from every angle.
Every angle. Mm-hmm.
So freaking irritating. But I don't want to dump on Pride Month though, because there are people within the umbrella are just amazing.
Yeah,
you have the outliers that, and the thing is, I always say this as well. The loudest people gonna give you what you look at.
Mm-hmm.
And so you think it's everybody, but it just be people that just be loud.
And I would consider myself an ally. And I think that in saying that, if they're to the people that I know personally and that I have a personal relationship with, I don't think that I have done anything to make them feel that I'm not an ally.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hope that our relationship is such that if I have, they would feel comfortable saying, you know what you said was really hurtful, or, you know, that didn't make me feel supported. And we can have that conversation. Like, I don't have a problem having that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, like the things that we discussed today, I also feel like it's okay for me to be an ally, but also not agree with everything
you do.
You know what I mean? Like, it's okay for us to have a difference of opinion, but I still support you.
Yeah.
And I still, you know, be a safe space for you.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't. My thing is this: the conversations or things that I would say about, it's the same shit I would say to my kid. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna support them,
right,
and love them,
right.
I don't like the fact that you smoke. I don't like the fact that you run your mouth too much. You just and forth. But if they call me for anything, I need help with this. It's not gonna stop me because I have my opinions of them.
Right.
There are two things can be true at all times.
Exactly.
I can have my opinion and feel a certain kind of way. Same difference when people be getting pregnant. Like, now you know you don't need to be having no other baby.
Right.
But I'm gonna throw you this baby shower.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I agree.
You know.
Well, that was another great episode. I think
so. Yes, it was, Jen. Make sure y'all
like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend to tell a friend,
and drop down in them comments.
And that's it. That's all we got. Oh, happy birthday to Janae. Happy belated birthday to Janae.
Happy belated 19th birthday to old Janae Nabu.
And happy birthday to Chris. His birthday's is coming Saturday. So
okay.
Happy birthday to them.
What's that big cancer season?
Cancers. Yeah. Shout out to the cancers.
They so sensitive.